Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another battle to the death for you. Today we have the Kizer Domin versus the Civivi Aquila. Yes, I know we've been pretty heavy on Civivi content lately, but this is a request. A lot of you guys know that I owned both of these and have been asking for this, so I'm going to do it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Both very similar knives in a lot of ways. Both G10 liner lock knives with VG10 blades. That's why I'm using the Aquila for this rather than the Civivi Backlash, which is... The Domin's kind of right between those two in price, but these two have the same blade steel. So that's why I'm going with these. You're looking at $52 for the Domin versus $68 for the Aquila. Both very similar sizes, both that 3.5 inch-ish blade size, EDC size. Very good knives to compare. A lot of very good similarities about these. Before we get started, let me talk about how this works. We have 7 categories. We have design and aesthetics, quality, blade, ergonomics, carry, deployment, and value. We're going to add up the scores at the end, and we're going to pick a winner. Let's do some stats before we get any farther here. Let's look at the Domin first of all. We have an overall length of dead on 8 inches, blade length of 3.45 inches. You have a blade thickness of 0.13, handle thickness of 0.46 inches, and a weight of 3.77 ounces. And now for the Aquila, we have, sorry, I changed the pages on my notes here, slightly longer at 8.3 inches. Blade length, again, dead on the same, 3.45 inches. Blade thickness, also dead on the same, 0.13 inches. Handle thickness of 0.52 and a weight of 4.1 ounces. Now, let's get into these scoreable categories here. Design and aesthetic. This one was kind of hard to choose. I personally would choose the Aquila all day long, but there are a couple controversial things about the Aquila that I understand some people don't like. Both are available in a lot of colors. The Aquila is available in this black. It's in a brown and or a tan and a green. This is available in this blue, a black, a tan, and a green, I believe. And then the Aquila is also available with some different blade finishes. You can get it partially coated and stuff like that if that's your thing. Definitely not my thing, but if you want to. But the controversial things about it are some people don't like that hole. They don't like the look of this deployment hole at all. I've heard a lot of people say they don't like it. I think it looks cool as hell, but a lot of people don't like it. And no matter what color you get, the liners are black. Gold. At the opposite of black, the liners are gold. So a lot of people really, really hate these gold liners. I prefer them to the blue ones on the Backlash, but I think they look cool. I also think this clip looks a bit out of place. That titanium pocket clip, just there's nothing else titanium on this, and I've always thought that looked kind of out of place. So given that, I'm going to call it a tie. Even though I do like the overall shape and design of this better, I understand a lot of people, there's a lot of things people don't like about this. There's a couple things I don't like about the Domin. I love the overall design, but I had the blue one because the black one comes with an orange backspacer, which I don't really understand that. And I didn't want to deal with the orange backspacer, so I preferred the blue to having I don't like bright orange stuff, so they both have their downsides. I think they're both good-looking knives. I think that there's more polarizing things about this. So design and aesthetics, I got to just call it a tie. I don't really know which. I think they're both pretty decent-looking knives, but both have their little quirks. Quality-wise, both really good quality. Like, as I said, this is... but it's $16 cheaper. The Domin is. There's nothing wrong with it quality-wise at all. Both of them have excellent blade centering, excellent lockup, all that stuff. Both appear to be very well constructed. I've torn them both down and put them both back together. They were pretty clean and stuff out of the box. All that stuff you'd expect. But the Civivi has just a couple more little things that are just a little bit nicer. The hardware is a lot nicer. The hardware on the Kizer Vanguards is okay, but it's not any better than okay. Where the hardware on these for $68 is pretty excellent. Civivi makes their own screws, modeled after the titanium screws you get on the full-on Wii knives, and they're really deep set and just really, really nice. And just a couple other little nicer details. The pivot's a bit nicer. You know, it's just, this just has it costs more, so that's understandable. But quality wise, gotta give it to the Civivi on that. Blade, both VG10. I will admit I have a lot more experience with Kizer VG10 than with Civivis or Wii's. But I had a Wii ignition for a long time. I assume this is the same heat treat. It was pretty good. I often rail on VG10, but I think both of these companies do a pretty good job with their VG10, so I'm not going to rail on it this time. I think that's in this price range. And the heat treats they use, it's pretty good. I don't care for Spyderco's VG10, but often when you're getting VG10 on Spyderco's, you're also often getting lower end like FRN, handles and stuff. So that's more why I rail on it with Spyderco than anything else. But on these two, I think they both have pretty good heat treat. Both seem to have pretty good edge retention. Both were super sharp out of the box. But I have to give the win to the Civivi because it's a nice hollow grind. This is not bad at all. This is like 19 thousandths behind the edge when I measured it, which, again, it's a very hard measurement to get. So, but which is fine. 19, 20 thousandths. It's a full flat grind. It's a pretty good slicer. It's not amazing. I do like the tip on this. It does have a pretty good robust tip. But on the Aquila, literally 13 or 14 thousandths behind the edge. Tip that is not really that much daintier than what you're getting on the Domin. And this thing is just a slicing machine. It's awesome. I really do like it. It's not as good as some of the other Wii's and Civivis, but it's way up there. And that's a new thing with Wii this year for 2018. They make a lot of really slicey knives, and this is definitely one of them. And for the kind of task that I do, I much prefer this blade, for sure. It works really, really well. Ergonomically, this looks like, and I said this in the full review, but the Domin in pictures does not look like it'd be a very good knife ergonomically. But you know what? It really is. It's pretty good. No hot spots. It fits my hand great. Again, I've got large size hands with skinny fingers, and it fits really well. It's a very, very comfortable knife. But so is the Civivi. It's equally as comfortable. I do like, when you're doing heavier duty stuff, I like having a bit more to grab a hold of here in the back. That's always really nice. To have a big butt, I guess you could say, is what I like on my knives. And I cannot lie. I'm so sorry I said that. But it's a very comfortable knife in the hand. But what gives this a slight win, a very slight win ergonomically, is that it's got a finger choil that actually works. It's not the biggest finger choil in the world, but it does actually work. And I like being able to choke up. And I like the little bit of extra bit of jimping up here on this little thumb ramp. So it's just those two little things, but that's enough to give it the win in ergonomics. Now in carry, carry-wise, very clear win to the Domin for that. It's slimmer in the pocket, for sure. As you can see here, not even close. The pocket clip carries a bit deeper, and even though this has a fancy pants titanium milled pocket clip, I'm going to say that the pocket clip on the Domin is better. This is, by all measurements, a better pocket clip, a nice milled titanium pocket clip, but it doesn't fit with this knife. You've got a whole lot of knife sticking out. I've actually carried this. Usually I also own a Civivi Praxis, and I don't carry it that much, so I took the clip off of it and put the clip on this, the cheaper deep carry loop over clip. That's honestly how I usually carry this knife, because I don't really care for this pocket clip much at all. So gotta go easy win carry wise to the Domin. Slimmer in every dimension. Pocket clip works better. You've only got just this little bit sticking out here. It's a much easier to carry knife than the Aquila is with the stock clip. Now, if Civivi would sell us those loop over clips, might be a different story, but they don't want to do that. So we're stuck just swapping them around. Now, deployment. You're looking at ceramic ball bearings and ceramic detent, full-on Wii treatment versus, this was running on, phosphor bronze bushings. Yeah, pretty easy win. This is great for what it is. For being on bushings and a thumb stud deployment, it's awesome. It reminds me a lot of, if you have a Rat 1 or a Rat 2, It feels almost just like that. Isn't particularly drop shutty, but close to it for being on bushings. It's pretty darn good. It's excellent for what it is. But this is awesome. And it's got 2 deployment methods. You've got the whole 2. You can spidey flick it. You can do all those things. Deployment, easy win for the Aquila. This is great for what it is, and if you prefer to not have bearings, some people don't like bearings. Some people work in environments where they're worried about grit and all that stuff, then go with the Domin. But I think for those of us who are fiddlers, you're going to much prefer the Aquila. Now, value-wise, pretty easy just to pick the Domin as the cheapest one, but that's not the only reason. I mean, it's $52 versus $68. You're getting the same blade steel. They both come with great packaging. They both kind of even out that way. You know, sometimes people get wound up when I include that in value, but it is. You both get little cases and stuff. They're both really nice. I'm sorry, you don't get a case with the Kizer, but you still get the cloth and all that stuff. But it's just that it's $16 cheaper, and all you're getting is the bearings. And some people aren't going to care about that. If you do care about that, then this is the winner in value. I think that there's a couple bucks added for this titanium milled pocket clip that I think this knife does not need. As I said before, there's nothing else titanium on this, so I don't really know why they put that milled pocket clip and charged us whatever they charged us for it. So, value, I got to give to the Kizer for that. Both great companies, so got to give it to Kizer for that, for the value. So where does that leave us? It leaves us at a pretty clear 4-2 with 1 tie win for the Aquila. All that said, like I said, if you don't want bearings, then the Domin's a great knife, and it's a great knife in its outright period. It's a really good working knife, and it's very easy to carry. A lot of things to love about the Domin, but if I could only keep one of these, it wouldn't even be a close decision. It would definitely be the Aquila. I just really like it. I love the awesome perfect detent. I love the multiple deployment methods. As I said before, I really like the look of it. Yeah, it's a great knife. Both great knives, but I think this is just a bit greater. So that is my conclusion. The winner is the Civivi Aquila. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.